What up YouTube, Topaz Yates back for another review, and this one is to that Logic Supermarket, and I'ma give it the yellow light, man, because it's a solid project where Logic is showcasing his versatility as he's jumping from genre to genre, from R&B to hip-hop and brief occasions, rock and roll, a bunch of different stuff. And it's dope that he's able to do this, man, because most people can't leave the genre regardless. That's how a lot of careers go under, because they refuse to grow and do different types of music and such. So my hat's off to him for doing that, man. It's just I have my issues with it. And we'll talk more about that after I set up this whole project, because this Supermarket is a soundtrack. Now, many people may not know what it's a soundtrack to. It's a soundtrack to Logic's book that he got, where he's going by the name Bobby Hall. And he wrote this book where he's describing it as a dark, funny, psychological thriller type of a book. And this project is the actual soundtrack to that. So everything that he's saying within all of these songs is probably directly tied and related to what he has in the book. So mad points for originality here, man, because whoever has made an audio track to pretty much complement a book? I'm sure it may have happened before in the past sometime, but I've never heard of it, and this is pretty good thinking here. On a promotional level, man, because not only are you giving the people what you're best at, which is your music, but yet it's straight up promotion for you to go out and buy the book, so all of these songs can be in context for you. Now, in this album, man, you can see the creativity that he has towards a whole bunch of these songs, and this is very important for my underground rappers who pretty much are trying to learn the craft and understand how you compose songs, because there's multiple ways. You don't have to just do intro, verse, chorus, outro. That's just the bare basics of what you can do. And if you pay attention to this entire project, you see how he variates with that. Like how he has verses, pre-choruses, choruses, bridges, post-choruses, breakdowns, switch-ups, intros, outros, reframes. Like, there's so many different things and so many different options you can have if you are a skillful songwriter. But let's go ahead and start looking at some of these songs. Like one of my favorites, that Bohemian Rhapsody, where what he's doing is, in the beginning, he has more of a new age disco / rock and roll vibe of a track, where it's all talking about smoking weed and stuff. This is pretty much just a weed smoking song, where he did have one clever bar in here where he's saying, yo, pass the weed like the legislation. But then at the end, it switches up and he goes into a brief rap verse outro. But the thing you should be paying attention to, especially for the very beginning before the beat switches, there's no actual verse here. Like, the last bit sounds like a verse, but it's more of an outro to the entire song. But yet, you can do that. You can have a whole song without doing a verse. As long as you're skillful about it, you can make it sound dope, as this was. But as I said, there was very little actual rap within all of this. There's a few points where he's interpolating individual rap songs and stuff, like how on Can I Kick It, that's the Tribe Called Quest, where he actually does a bit of rapping in there, and he annoys me when he's saying things like, yeah, it's Logic, aka chocolate and vanilla, again pointing at the fact that he's biracial. And that's annoying because, one, we get it. You've said it 1,000 times on all of your last projects. We understand that you're biracial and you're not going to let that go. Whatever. You're trying to be lyrical with it, but it's a super dry bar that means absolutely nothing. And again, as I've said numerous times, you may claim that biracial thing, but there's no biracial alliance out here. Like, when the powers that be figure out that you have black in you, you're black. But he's obviously gonna have to learn this the hard way, as this track was all just him feeling himself and quote unquote trying to spit game, where it was some of the wackest that you'll ever hear. But it is what it is. Not one of my favorite songs. But then there's the song Baby, where this is again him interpolating or taking from other rap songs and such, man. Like, this was a Biz Marquis' Just a Friend. And to be real with you, doesn't it sound like just a whitewashed version of the hook? of Just a Friend, as he did say some interesting things within the verse, like how he said he's trying to study this chick like constellations. That was an interesting bar, not a great one. But then he, of course, says some super dry bars that people gonna give him credit for because he's Logic. Well, I'm not gonna do that. Like how he's saying that I've given my heart away just to have it beat up. Now that's a heart attack. Now my heart don't beat enough. Like, I understand what he's trying to do here, a bit of wordplay around beat, and then he's trying to tie it all together as a bar on how he's been heartbroken from time to time, man. But it's not good. The next song that I like would be I'm Probably Going to Rock Your World, where self-explanatory by the topic and such, where it has nothing but R&B vibes to it, where he's doing a little something, like he doesn't have an amazing voice or anything like that, but he can hold a note enough to actually pass, you feel me? As he did say some things on here that's kind of interesting, like, I'm high like a kite, but just like The Price is Right, I'm coming on down. That was cool. And the last song I want to talk about is that By the Bridge, where this is a rock and roll song. Where it was a pretty decent one. Like, I'm not going to say it was a great song that I'm going to keep or anything like that, but I can definitely respect it. And then I also like to analyze it. Like, this is one of those songs where you didn't know that you can do the same verse multiple times. Like, you could say the same exact thing. As the basic concept here is pretty much people chasing after their dreams. As it's all like somewhat of a big metaphor, like how he's saying there's dead people at the bridge that he always sees. And he elaborates on it saying that there's people at the bridge jumping off trying to spread their wings, but yet clearly they didn't fly and they died. But yet he starts talking about himself. Like everywhere he goes, it's like he's searching inside of his soul. And if he doesn't find it, will you love him or let him go? Like, he's all but saying everybody is trying to pursue and chase after their dreams. Some people fail and they die by jumping off that bridge to get there. And he's searching for what he wants to do. Overall, man, a very intriguing project where he shows some pretty solid versatility. There's a couple pretty good songs here. And I love the fact that he's being super creative and expanding on his horizons while he's making books and promoting the books with his actual music and all of that stuff. This was pretty skillful of a thing for him to do. So this is why I'm overall giving this joint 7 out of 10. Definitely one you should peep out. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there. And you can go to downloadpass.com, that's down there, to read today's article.